Tyler, did you catch this? My Sun Devils are getting their punter back.
Oh, my gosh. I did catch this. The jacked up, the yoked punter, right?
Yeah. Listen, man. I definitely follow Sun Devil stuff closer than most here in Colorado. I'll give you that. So I knew that Michael Turk, their punter, had declared for the draft early. And I was absolutely stunned. I just never understood it when it happened. I was shocked. And then the guy goes to the combine, and he does 225 like 25 times. Like an absurd number for a punter.
Right.
So, okay. But then
he's got a lot of time to work out, DMac. What can I say? Specialists, they should be the most jacked.
You know, when they put a pool at Vista del Sol right off college.
Also inspiring. Yes, you want to inspiring.
When I went to freshman orientation years ago, and I saw kids in tank tops and shorty shorts with their parents, I knew I was in a different world than I was used to at Syracuse, where we were wearing overcoats and boots, to say the least. So, okay, fine, whatever. Of course, I thought it was ridiculous that a punter would declare early. Only 3 or 4 punters a year, Tyler, actually make a team.
Well, get drafted.
In the NFL.
I mean, when you're talking about how many get drafted, like maybe 2 in any given year, and it's in the 6th or 7th round, right?
Right.
So what the heck are you thinking coming out early as a punter?
No idea. No idea what this kid was thinking. No idea what advice he was being given. I think it's a good idea for all punters to get as much of an education as humanly possible, including a graduate degree if you're lucky enough to have that kind of eligibility in college, and punt and then give it a shot. You should definitely, everybody should have a fallback plan, but especially punters, Tyler. All right, anyways.
Yeah.
So this kid, he doesn't get drafted, and not only doesn't he get drafted, he doesn't get signed as an undrafted free agent. I mean, nothing. And he had hired...
He didn't even have an offer as an undrafted free agent?
Nothing!
Oh, my gosh. You want to talk about somebody that did absolutely no homework. Are you kidding me?
And apparently he's got the world's worst agent that must have been advising him during this process. All right, so here's what's amazing, though. In an unprecedented move, the NCAA has returned and restored his eligibility to Michael Turk, despite doing everything that you should to become a professional. Quote, I left college early to pursue a professional career that didn't work out, Turk said. I've been working hard and praying about it now due to COVID-19 and extenuating circumstances. I've actually been granted 2 years of eligibility back to play college football, and I'll be going back to Arizona State.
Wow, so this is fascinating on a number of different levels, outside of just making a mockery of his decision to come out, which clearly was insanely dumb. In the 2 years of eligibility, that's just how much he had left, right?
Correct.
So he could, had he stayed put, he could have played for another 2 years, right?
Correct.
So they're giving him back his full eligibility. This is landmark type of stuff here, DMac. This is something that has never happened in the history of the NCAAs, and this is something that is going to open up Pandora's box. You know, I know that they're using the pandemic as part of the justification for allowing him to come back to school. But, man, are you kidding me? You just let a guy come out, declare himself eligible for the draft, go through the draft process, go through free agency, and he doesn't have to find a job. So you let the kid come back to school because he was a big idiot, quite frankly, an absolute idiot for coming out, and he comes back to school. Look, man, I'm not necessarily against this because I think this could lead towards a very unique conversation should you allow kids to come out, see where they would get drafted, and if they get drafted, well, they have to go. Okay, so if you come out and you get drafted, you have to go. But if you don't get a job, well, did you ever really lose your amateur status? No, you never got a job. You never signed a contract. You never made $1.
Well,
right?
Maybe. But as soon as you declare and hire an agent, you are more than free to accept other forms of payment or compensation or gifts.
Yeah, very true. Yeah, and many times agents front you a ton of money, right? And I mean, like the first rounders, they can get fronted hundreds of thousands of dollars from their agent for real.
Right.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I know a certain Buffalo that after a certain bowl game was in a certain Bahama resort like 2 days later.
Is that right? Is that right?
So
paid for by the agent?
Yes, sir. Yes,
nice.
Sir. Yes,
I like
sir.
that agent. I wish I found that agent.
Never mind about the spring semester eligibility. It was shoo, bye-bye.
Yeah.
But listen, inherently, I like this. I think it's a great precedent. It's a little tricky because you can't accept money, gifts, that sort of thing when you get that agent. The agent can start paying for things and doing things that other college kids can't do. So maybe there has to be some sort of, look out for stuff like that, I guess. Of course, I'm not against paying kids in the first place. I'm just talking about the rules as they exist. But I like the precedent, Tyler. I like the fact that why should you made a bad decision, okay? And why should you be punished for it? Now, I will tell you, there's another side to this
It's a
story.
very dangerous game to play. I mean, generally speaking, I like the idea of players getting some sort of power, because college athletes, they need to win, man. They need to win in the worst kind of way. And if this is going to give them a little bit more power to go make money if they can, and if they can't make the money, then you got to come back to school. I'm not against that, but there's just a lot of loopholes here that get very dangerous to play this game.
Now, there's another side of this. So Arizona State recruited a graduate transfer punter from Florida State. If you come in as a graduate transfer, you're only doing that because you're going to be a guaranteed starter.
Correct.
That's it.
Yep.
That's the only reason you would do it.
You left because you got 1 year left and you want to go play ball.
And you know what? Teams, instead of taking an 18-year-old high school kid, I'm going to take a 21, 22-year-old college kid. Well, who do you think is going to be better right away, even though you're only going to have that kid for 1 year? It's kind of like what's happened in the NCAA with all these spring sport athletes, where they've all been given another year. Well, I mean, that's going to have kind of this crazy rebound effect on not only the class coming in, but maybe 2 classes away, where it's even harder to get recruited because things are so backed up. It's a quirky deal because once you make that decision...
That's actually amazing, DMac, that they literally had a grad transfer at the exact same position of the guy that declared himself eligible for the draft and now is coming back and going to steal that guy's job. Okay, that guy gets a waiver now. I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding. I'm not even kidding, DMac. If you're going to give a waiver to the guy that declared himself eligible and was such a dum-dum that he couldn't realize that there was nobody that even wanted him in free agency, and now some poor kid transfers to that school, absolutely he should get a waiver.